These are the wing root covers for the Cub. This first one on the lower end here on the bottom is for the rear trailing edge of the Cub. It goes across the bottom and then into the rear. And then there's a tab on this one here that goes across the top that gets pulled in tight to that bottom one once it gets on there. And then the two curved ones there are for the wing roots, the windshield around that. Well, I've been working on those for a couple weeks, stripping the paint off of them and getting them cleaned up, kind of in between other jobs. Finally got them cleaned up to the point where I liked them. There's a lot of corrosion around some of those screw holes and stuff on them in places. Well, I needed to get that cleaned up. Well, we've had a couple of nice days here in a row. Supposed to start raining again tomorrow or tonight. So I decided to go ahead and work on these steady. Yesterday I took them and put them in the Alumiprep and the acid etch and cleaned up around all the screw heads and scrubbed them all down real good with that. And then I alodined them, and I just got done with that this morning. You have to just a little pot to alodine them in, so each one of them gets a chance in it. This one on the right side, I had an antenna on that for the tracker that we had in the airplane. I took that out, and there was a pretty good sized hole in there for the antenna to fit those antenna couplings, so I had to put a patch on that. Ideally, that would be a nice flush patch. Had a piece cut out to fit in the hole and everything, but I didn't want to take the time to do that, and it's not structural, so it's not a big deal. I just put a piece of 16 thousandths 2024 cut out to shape there and riveted on with some AN 470 3-3 rivets. Well, anyway, I got those out, all cleaned up, hanging up here, and I've got a coat of primer on them, DP 48LF. So I've got to let that cure now for an hour, and then I can finish coat them, top coat them with yellow, the same as I did the other ones. While I was doing that, I've got some extra vortex generators there. I just got a kit from Cub Crafters for repair. We got 5 vortex generators. What I did with those is I just laid out, doubled over a piece of masking tape so it was sticking to itself, and stuck it down to the newspaper there, and then just stuck those generators right on that. They don't need paint on the bottom of them. It's the last painting I think that I'm going to do. I wanted to paint that cowling again, but I'm not going to take the time to do it now. I've got a few other things to do to get the airplane ready to go, but hopefully it's getting close to being done. I don't want to take the time to do it. So, well, those are all painted, all coated, and they're looking pretty good. I didn't paint the backside of them, the inside of them, except what overspray got on them from painting the edges, making sure the edges were coated good. That long piece there, the top one, that doesn't generally come off during a 100-hour or an annual, and with the white on there, that'll help reflect the light down in that wing root and make it easier to see in there to do an inspection. In fact, none of them always come off all the way. Sometimes they just unscrew and then drop down. Anyway, I just left the backside of them white. These vortex generators look good. And just for good measure, I went ahead and put the water radiators up there and put a coat on them. I don't know how well it's going to hold up because I didn't prep them any. I didn't scratch sand them or anything. I'd powder coated those the other day, and I didn't like the way they turned out. I'd used that color before on a couple other parts, and they came out almost a match with aircraft color. But these came out dry looking. I don't know whether it's because of the coat over the top of that zinc chromate primer, which was pretty dark, or whether they got cooked too long, maybe a little bit too hot, because I put them in the oven the same time that I cooked that carburetor air box with a high temperature paint, and that had to be heated up quite a bit hotter than what I normally go. And then in that big oven, I just turned it off. I should have went ahead and opened it up, but I wanted to make sure that high temp coating on the air box got cured properly. Anyway, I had extra paint, so I went ahead and squirted some with those. They're not going to match the floats, and I've done that before, painting them yellow like that. It kind of stands out. It just gives one more thing that kind of stands out when you're flying. All that yellow on the side of the airplane stands out pretty good, and it does. But like the old lady said when she blew her nose in the gravy, every little bit helps. Now there's a pretty good breeze blowing on these today. A lot more than I would have liked, but it turned out all right. And they still got half hour to an hour of sunshine on them, so they should cure up pretty good. I'm not going to put those on right away anyway. They've got to stay off until we get the inspection all finished, but I wanted to get them finished up while I had a chance. This was the first good days we've had in a couple of weeks, and it's supposed to be the last ones. I'm gonna get ready to get the airplane weighed, and I want to have those in there in about the right place where they go when we weigh the plane. I was sitting over there in the shade, enjoying the breeze, getting a nice cup of iced tea, admiring my handiwork here, and I just kept thinking something wasn't quite right. I finally figured it out. There's a piece missing there, or two pieces missing, I should say. There's one more piece that goes between the lower portion of that one that goes over the flap or the trailing edge and the piece that goes around the windshield. So I still got two pieces to do. And I don't know where they're at. They're probably overhead in the rafters there in the hangar someplace. But I can't go looking for them until I take my paint rack down. Here I thought I was all done. Still got two pieces to do. I don't know, they squirreled themselves away someplace. They didn't want to get caught, I guess. So not quite as done as I thought I was.